Okay, that solves that problem.
All right, well, President Trump signing an executive order earlier today, that was part of it, that will strip federal funding from schools if they mandate COVID-19 vaccines for students and staff. And in the state of Louisiana, they will no longer use media campaigns to promote mass vaccinations. Just some of the backdrop in public health as Robert F. Kennedy Jr. completes his first day on the job as the Health and Human Services Secretary. Now, as the head of HHS, Secretary Kennedy will now oversee agencies like the CDC, FDA, National Institutes of Health, along with Medicare and Medicaid services. Joining me now is Vani Hari. You might know her as the Food Babe, as her millions of followers and readers do. She's a supporter of the Secretary. If you were watching those hearings, there it was. She was basically at prime real estate there for the hearing. She is the author of the book, Feeding You Lies, How to Unravel the Food Industry's Playbook and Reclaim Your Health. Vani, thanks for being back with us here on the Hill. Always nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Blake.
So you had that front row seat. You got a pretty good idea, I would think, of what Secretary Kennedy, as he's now known, is going to do out the gate, especially when it comes to food. What do you think he's going to do? Give me the top 2, 3, 4 things, whatever you think it may be.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to keep his campaign promises to look at artificial dyes. You know, we have 15% of children taking some kind of ADHD medication. We have 7 million children being diagnosed with ADHD. And we know, based on the studies, that artificial food dyes affect our children. In Europe, they require cigarette type warning labels on their products if there's an artificial dye used, and the entire American food industry decided to strip their products overseas of those artificial food dyes when that label took place in 2010, over 15 years ago. And so now's the time to catch up the United States on those regulations. And so I think that's one of the first things that he looks at, because there are so many mothers out there that are tired of scouring ingredient lists and looking for safe products for their children to eat. And there's so many schools out there that are looking to ban artificial food dyes. We have 30 different states looking at legislation right now to enact a ban on artificial food dyes, either for the whole state or just in schools, like California just did, which passed unanimously. It was a bipartisan effort, all Democrats, all Republicans. And that's what I'm so excited about, because these are issues all Americans can get behind.
Okay. You know, it's 6:20 here on the East Coast on a Friday night. Speaking of food, I don't know if breakfast is for dinner in some households, but there's a big story with eggs right now. The cost of eggs have gone through the roof. It's went from north of $4 to look at that, almost $8 right now. And the Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego had this recommendation just the other day. I want to get your reaction on the other side.
There is a bird flu vaccine that is used in Europe, used in Mexico, that is given to our chickens. They should have instituted a law saying that we need to start vaccinating these chickens so we don't have these huge jumps prices in eggs.
What about that idea, Vani? It's probably in the purview of USDA, but what about that idea of vaccinating against bird flu? It's been one of the main causes for the spike of egg prices.
We need to look at the root cause of why these chickens are getting so sick and why they're susceptible to these diseases. And it starts with the fact that they're raised on factory farms in crowded conditions, giving antibiotics and other growth growth promoting drugs to make them fatter. And this is the root cause of how we have healthy livestock in this country. And when you look at the egg prices, you'll see that the organic and pasture-raised egg prices have relatively stayed the same, because this is affecting conventional eggs. I just picked up some beautiful blue pasture-raised eggs. I brought them in, and my little son, he was so excited. He wanted to make an egg right away because they were so beautiful to look at and so yellow and bright and rich in omega-3 fatty acids, because those chickens are eating what they're supposed to be eating, not genetically fed corn and soy that make them sick.
So don't vaccinate with the bird flu like the senator says?
I'm not an expert on the vaccine, on the bird flu vaccine, but I do know that we have to fix the root cause of how our livestock is raised in this country.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.